Hello everyone, welcome to the Peartree Cutfiles first birthday celebration hop. It's Vic here and I'm on the design team for Peartree Cutfiles, and this month, well for today anyway, I am joining in with the YouTube hop to celebrate Peartree Cutfiles first birthday. I cannot believe that Marie has been up and running and designing all of these fabulous cut files for the last year for us all. The time has absolutely flown by, and we just wanted to help her celebrate this today. So there is a collaboration between loads of talented scrapbookers, and we will all be partaking in a hop today. So please do, after you've watched this video, hop along to all the other ladies that are taking part today. All the details will be below in the description for you. So I am using the Heartburst cut file, and I've had my eye on it for quite a while, but just wasn't quite sure how I was going to pop it on a page. I had too many ideas basically whizzing through my head as to how I was going to incorporate this on a layout. So in the end, I have decided to make it a great big huge main feature on my page and cover one area with a photograph. And that photograph is of my daughter from about 4 or 5 years ago now. I just thought she looked absolutely beautiful in it and wanted to scrap it basically. So that's what I'm doing today. Now I've turned my cut file over and just sticking back the negative pieces onto the back of my photograph there. Now the reason for that is once I've cut around that area, one, I know that I will have the shape exactly right, but also it just helps make my photograph a little bit stronger because I'm going to raise that on some foam pad later on top of the cut file rather than using my photograph to back the file with. So I found some of this beautiful paper from an older Paige Evans collection, which is the Bloom Street one. Haven't got lots of it left, but that is the beauty of cut files and the fact that you can use your leftover bits to create something fabulous on your page. Now, because my daughter had some a floral headband on, I wanted to add some rolled flowers onto my page, which I'm just making myself here by hand. So I'm making use of the 2x2 square paper from the collection, cutting each square into a circle and then just basically cutting that circle into a spiral from the outside into the center and then rolling it up, which you can see me doing here. And then off camera, I've just used my hot glue gun to seal the bottom of it up so that they don't all unravel again. Now, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to use those flowers on my layout. As you can see here, I've filled a whole segment with them. So I did have an idea of popping them on the top of the cut file. I also had an idea of sinking them beneath the cut file or to embellish around my photograph. So just having a little play with everything there, but decided that I didn't really have enough paper left from the collection to warrant doing rolled flowers to go around the whole of the edge of my heart, and plus it would have taken me forever. So I wanted to add some more detail and layering to that cut file, and I've decided to choose vellum for this. One, because you can still see some of the pretty pattern paper through it, and also I think it looks absolutely beautiful when you emboss it through like your Big Shot or your Sizzix machines. Now I didn't want to lose all of that beautiful pretty pattern paper from behind, so what I'm using is I'm making use of the negative of that cut file and using that as a template to cut around. And then once that's done, I've just trimmed it ever so slightly so that it's actually smaller than each segment aperture on that cut file there, so you still get a glimpse of that beautiful pattern paper around the edges, and that just helps add a bit more definition to my file and also give some added detail. My original idea was to machine stitch, I should say, not hand stitch. My hand stitching isn't that great, but machine stitch through the length of each of those vellum pieces. But because it was quite fragile from where I'd embossed it, I decided that by just applying a tiny bit of glue down the centre of each piece would be sufficient to hold them in place and still give that sort of dreamy effect that I was looking for on my layout. So I'm just having a little play around now with some florals that I'd fussy cut from one of the sheets of paper that I had left, and I really wanted to add them onto my page. They're absolutely ditzy, so it did take a while to fussy cut out just these few, and I did have an idea of filling the whole of that white space around the heart with them, but it would have just taken forever, and also once again I didn't think I had enough of that paper left. So as you can see, I changed my mind and I'm filling one of the segments from the cut file now with them. And I think that works really nicely. I think it balances out my photograph on the left hand side, which is obviously quite bold and darker than the rest of the softness that I've achieved on the cut file. And I just felt it added another little bit of added detail and layering to that cut file, and I really love how that turns out. So I'm going to stick with that as an idea, but before sticking them down I'm going to raise them all on some foam pads to add a bit more dimension. So like I said, this process video and this scrapbook layout is to help Marie celebrate Peartree Cutfiles' first birthday. So please do hop along and celebrate with us. Now, throughout the month of August, I believe there are going to be lots of fun things going on the Peartree Cutfiles Facebook group. So I will pop a link for that down in the description for you all. So you can hopefully join in with all the celebrations and all the fun. There will be lots of different things happening throughout the month, lots of challenges running, and there are prizes up for grabs too. So you have to be in it to win it. We would love to see you over there and see you all sharing all your scrappy inspiration using Peartree Cutfiles. So please do make sure that you head on over and join in the fun. Like I said, the link will be in the description below, so it will be really easy for you to just click on that and it will take you straight there so that you don't miss out on anything. So my title here, Beautiful, is a bramble fox perspective. Absolutely love it, and it followed the outline contour line of the cut file really nicely there. And although big, it wasn't too in your face, so it didn't detract from that cut file too much. So I decided that I would use that as my title on my page. I absolutely loved this. And I was also wondering about embellishing the edge of my photograph up on the curved side of it, as you can see. I've just moved them off because it looked like Isabella had some kind of growth out of the top of her head, so I wasn't quite sure on that, but I do go back later on and minimize the amount of embellishing around the photo, but just a little bit, just to help draw it all in. So adding some sparkle to my page now, using some beautiful sequins and pearl dots from Lucy's Little Things. I've placed some inside of the 3 rolled flowers that I handmade and a couple on the fussy cut florals in one of the segments there, and I really love that. I think it really helps bring the cut file to life and the decoration as well. Her mixes are always really pretty. You have like a mixture of like little beads and these pearlescent balls and sequins in the packs, all mixed in together. So there's so many possibilities with these sparkly bits, and you can never have enough sparkle on your pages, right? I just think they're beautiful. They just help add that little special touch to your projects. Now I wanted to back my layout as well. My actual 12 by 12 cardstock there, I think, ended up being about 11.5 inches squared, because I'd trimmed it down to that. So it needed something on the outside edge just to help pull the layout all together and really help that heart cut file stand out more prominently on my page. So I've backed it with some vellum first, and then I'm just using a piece of paper from the Garden Party collection, because I felt the pinks in that were replicated in my heart cut file as well, and it just gave a little bit of a darker colour there and helped draw everything together nicely. Now, because my paper is only going to be used as a frame for my layout, I have gutted the centre of it first because I can save that for another day. So just using some double-sided tape here to stick my layout down, and I'm just pulling the backing off halfway down and bending it slightly. That way, when I turn my page over to stick it on the frame, it will be a little bit more forgiving if it's not quite in the right place, and it just enables me to reposition if I need to. So happy with how everything's looking now, and it's just a case of the finishing few touches to my page. So like I said, I've raised my photograph up on some foam to help it pop up from the cut file. Just embellishing around the edge there with some fussy cut florals and bits of foliage, and a lot more minimal than the big cluster that I had originally, but that just helps tie that into the cut file as well and bring it all together. And then a fussy cut floral on the top left and bottom right there, because I don't know if you noticed earlier on that bottom right hand side, I was trying to rub out a brown mark that I'd put on my page. I was so annoyed with myself because I was in the middle of doing dinner at the same time as crafting, and really sillily didn't wash my hands and I left a mark on my page, so had to cover that little error up. But I think we've managed to do that, and if I hadn't have said and people hadn't watched the video, they wouldn't have known. So a few more little sparkles to bring it all together, and distressing the edges of my cardstock and vellum, and my page is done. I have put the journaling on the back of my layout just because I wasn't quite sure where to put it on my page, and I didn't want to ruin what I'd already done. So thanks so much for watching me today and hopping on by. Please give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, and if you would like to subscribe, that would be fantastic. Hello to anybody new to my channel as well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and it's been lovely having you here. So this has been Vic. You can find me on Instagram at Forever Scrapping, and please do head on over to the Peartree Cutfiles Facebook group via the link below to join in with the first birthday celebrations. Thanks then, bye.